Hi everyone, today we're going to make some celebration cakes. I know us being stuck at home, some of us haven't been able to celebrate in ways that we really wanted to. So I thought it'd be a great idea to make some celebration cakes so we can celebrate maybe some birthdays, or maybe you have graduations coming up, or maybe anniversaries in your family. So maybe we could all think of something to celebrate. Here are some different ideas of some tier cakes so we can get some real life ideas from, different colors, different shapes, different patterns, different lines. And I really like the inspiration of all the different materials that they use. Here's one that I made for my daughter because her birthday is in 2 weeks. I really wanted to make it special for her. So here's our birthday cake, and we're going to be thinking about a couple different things as we create this birthday cake or celebration cake. The first thing we're going to think about is lines, patterns, shapes, colors. You can use pencil, you can use marker, you can use any kind of material that you have lying around at home. I have some colored pencils or oil pastels. You could even use watercolor paint, and I also have some crayons that you could use. Anything you can get your hands on, as long as you ask your parents if you're allowed to use it. Okay, so you're going to get a blank piece of paper. Make sure you're holding it the tall way, okay? And then what we want to do is we want to think about this imaginary line called the line of symmetry, that when we fold along it, it actually is the same on both sides. And symmetry is having the same thing on both sides. We want to make our cake look really symmetrical. So we're going to fold our paper in half to start. Give it a nice crease. The crease is where the fold is. And that's going to give us a guideline of where we're going to draw our cake. You can either start with pencil. I'm actually going to start with marker today because I can have it be seen a little bit easier. Measure from the bottom about one length of your hand, and I want you to leave that much space because we're going to create this cool pedestal for our cake to stand on. You're going to start with a straight line right about that spot where you measured your hand, and you want to go, pretty close to the edges, but not too close. And then you're going to make a nice long skinny oval. Now, if you want to, you can make the pedestal look decorative and you could add some fanciness to it, or you don't have to. I thought it'd be fun to make a little fancy pedestal, so you could just make a bunch of little U's on the bottom, and it gives it a scalloped kind of decorative look. That's up to you though. You do not need to do that. Now for our pedestal, we want to make it the same on both sides. So I'm going to draw 2 lines coming down, and then I'm going to have a diagonal line coming out from either side, and then I'm going to make a straight line on the bottom. That's going to be our pedestal. Now we are ready to get started on our cake, starting with a rectangle shape. We want to make 3 rectangles, one big, medium, and small. So you're going to start with the biggest one on the bottom, almost to the edge of your pedestal, but we don't want to go off the edge. Leave a little bit of room. Then you're going to close up the top to make it look like a rectangle. The second thing I like to do is add the icing, and it's going to make it look like it's dripping down if you make a squiggly line. Okay, next up is our medium size one. Again, don't make it too small too quick. You want to leave just a little bit of room on each side, but not a lot of room. You don't want to make it too small. All right, then we're going to close it in again. Same thing, a rectangle, and then we're going to make it drippy again. Make it look like the icing's coming off the edge. If you don't want to make it look like it's coming off the edge, you don't need to do that. You could do yours differently than mine. And then we're going to make one more tier, and that tier is going to be also a rectangle. You can make yours round though. You can make it a little bit different than mine. You do want to make it symmetrical though, so make sure we're keeping it in the center of the page. Okay, now we have the cake drawn. We can go ahead and add some details. I'm going to make mine maybe a little bit different than the other one you can see on the left. The one on the left has these lollipops coming out of them. I was thinking maybe have these kind of cool like fireworks shooters coming out the sides of this other one. So I could go ahead and add either one of those. You do not need to add fireworks shooters or lollipops. You could do something completely different. You could have fruit on the top. You can make a decoration. If this cake is going to be for someone specific, you could make it so it's maybe their favorite thing on the top of their cake. Maybe they're really into Spider-Man, or maybe they're really into Trolls, the new movie Trolls. So maybe you would add like a cool troll on top. So it's up to you, however you want to design your cake. Now, you want to think about what the celebration is. So if you want to, you could be very specific, meaning you could add in some candles. Maybe it's someone's birthday. Maybe you could write congratulations. You could write a number for how old they are. I'm going to do a number 3. I made one for my daughter, so now I'm going to make one for my son, who's 3. We'll enjoy that. Okay. Add my candle, and kind of like a teardrop shape for the flame. All right, now we want to think about pattern. Patterns, we could do lines, shapes, and colors for pattern. So think about the lines that we went over in class. We've talked about zigzag lines, straight lines. We could talk about curlicue lines or wavy lines or made up lines. You can also add in patterns of shape. So I just did some upside down triangles there. Maybe I'll just want a curlicue line. You don't have to use lines, you could just do all shapes. But I do want you to think about patterns. On the left hand side, I made some polka dots. You could do polka dots, you could do hearts, you could do stripes. I think I'm gonna do a picture of a strawberry. And maybe I'll make a pattern of strawberries and cherries. My son loves strawberries. Make yours personal. I don't want yours to look exactly like mine. Try to think of things that make your cake special for the person that you're creating it for. Okay. Now I have my designs for my cake. I think I'm ready to add maybe some outside details around the edges. And that's really gonna just give us the finishing touches. Maybe some flowers, maybe some other pieces of fruit. You could do other characters to go along with your theme. If you want to do a whole, like say for instance, you want to do like a whole Spider-Man cake, you could have webs be part of the designs on the top, along the tiers, and also at the bottom. Anything that you can think of, it's really up to your imagination. I want you to really be original and not copy. After you're done this, I had a great idea that we could give it to somebody, and we could possibly even mail it to somebody, since we can't see people in person. If there's somebody that's not living with you that you want to celebrate, maybe you could ask your parents if you could mail it to them. That would be extra special. Everybody loves getting mail, especially at this time when we're not seeing everybody every day. Okay, a couple more finishing touches, and I think I'm almost ready for color. Now, if you don't have anything to color it in with, that's okay. We could also add in some words. I could Happy Birthday Casey, but you don't have to do anything. You could just have the cake. It's up to you. So I'm going to use some crayons to get started, but again, I said oil pastels. You could use colored pencils. You could use watercolor. I'm going to pick some different colors, and I'm trying really hard to stay inside the lines that I just drew, making sure I don't have any of those streaky windows that we talked about. Nice coloring it all the way in, going in the same direction, making it nice and dark. That's really going to make your artwork stand out. I'm going to show you how maybe what a marker would look like. You could use any types of markers, whatever you have on hand. The markers are going to give it a darker feel. Crayons can be dark too, but they seem to come up a little bit lighter sometimes, which is great if you want it to be a little bit lighter. You might have more variety of colors with your crayons too. And you could do both. So you could have some things stand out and then some things a little bit lighter in the background. Take your time, make sure you're coloring everything in, all the details. It's really going to stand out and make the person excited to see their cake. I hope everybody is doing really well and is healthy and happy. And it's fun to celebrate things, and you can do, even though we can't do it in the normal way that we're used to, it's fun to think of different ways to celebrate people and things. Okay, so once you are done with the color in the cake, we can think of also maybe how we could add some color in the background. Watercolor is a great way, if you have watercolor, to do big areas, and it's going to be quicker than just coloring everything by hand. Now, coloring everything in by hand is still an option, and I think it's a great option. I'm just trying to give you as many different ways to do things. So adding a little bit of water to your watercolor before you start, and then going in and painting in those larger areas. So using a bunch of different materials is really going to give you that variety of color that we're looking for. Now, if you want to do it all in crayon, that's perfectly fine. If you want to do it all in marker, that is perfectly fine. This is up to you. You're going to make your cake special for the person that you want to make it special for. Now, another option is, we've talked about how markers bleed when they are not permanent. So you could also, if you have markers, you can turn it into watercolor paint just by adding water to the marker itself. So I like to outline the area that I want to paint. In kindergarten, we actually did this with our rocket ships, if you remember. And then you get plain water, nothing on it, no watercolor on it, and you take the water and you start to kind of dab the edge of the marker, and it's going to start turning into like a watercolor. And it's going to be light, but it's going to look really pretty. A nice light purple in the inside. And you can do that with pretty much any kind of marker that's not permanent. Okay, so this could, once you're done, you can go ahead and add in the background. I'm not going to sit here and do the whole coloring for you, but you can kind of get an idea with the one that's done on the left, how it kind of colored in the whole completion of the project. I hope you guys have a lot of fun with this, and I'm looking forward to seeing all of your creations. If you can just please remember to take a photo of your artwork and upload it to our Google Classroom, and then turn it in by hitting the Turn It In button. That's going to make it so much easier for me to see it, and so we can share it. And after you're done turning it in, don't forget, this is supposed to be something that we are using to celebrate. So think of that person that you did the cake for, and I want you to give it to them as a gift, celebrating something that's special in your life right now. Either you can give it to them, you could even take a picture and send it to them with your parents' permission, or even if you want to, I think it'd be really fun if you could mail it to somebody. So think of all the different ways that you could get it to that person, even though you can't see them in real life right now. So I hope you're having a great time with this, and I cannot wait to see what my little artists have come up with. Have an awesome, awesome week, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.